There are other alternative ways to get to places you want. Teenagers should only drive when it's necessary. By necessary, I mean by places that can be reached by public transportation or you have to get to work on time. I've seen a lot of pollution in the air, and the gas that comes out of the car from the car is toxic. Teenage drivers have the choice of not driving, but they still choose to drive. Driving a car costs a lot of money, spreads pollution, and is dangerous for new drivers. We need to buy a new or used car. It's expensive because we need to pay for gas, insurance, road fees, and other fees. By buying a new or used car, we're talking about five figures money. Teenagers shouldn't be driving that often because we have limited amount of money. We have to pay for tuition and housing fees and other entertainments. They should walk or ride the bus if the places they're going to is not that far. For example, in SASU, we get the Eco Pass, and the Eco Pass we could ride the VTA anytime to any places that we want. The gas coming out of the car is harmful to the environment or the human body. The car releases CO2 into the atmosphere, and it causes global warming. Based on my experience from last week, the weather was so hot it went up to 90-something degrees because of the global warming coming out from the cars. Before the cars running, the road will overheat and it will be the end of the road. It contaminates our air, and we breathe it in every day, and that's really bad for the human body. Teenage drivers have a higher probability to a car crash. Teenage drivers are inexperienced and more reckless than other drivers of any age. I see teenage drivers cutting lanes and driving above speed limit on enough streets and on the highway. According to the Insurance for Highway Safety says that 16-year-olds have higher crash rate than drivers of any age. Teenagers should only pay attention to the road and not try to multitask. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety says in 2010, 58% of deaths among car crashes in motor vehicle were ages 16 to 19. Would you want someone that you care about dies because of a car crash? No, we don't want that to happen. But if teenagers drive often, then they have a higher probability to a car crash. This chart shows that in 2001, the car crash from 16 to 25-year-old have the highest probability to a car crash. 16-year-olds, more than 6,000 16-year-olds died in 2001 because of a car crash. As you can see from the graph, the older you get, the less car crash there is. And this pie chart over here shows that 15 to 19-year-old males and females killed in car crash from 2000 to 2006. There was a total of 19,076 teenagers died from car crash, and among that, 12,479 were males and 6,597 were females. My friend drives every day, and he got distracted because his phone rang and he got into an accident. He was in the hospital for like 2 months, and in order to get recovered, he stayed in the hospital for months. But then after that, his legs were dead, and he had to sit in a wheelchair, and he couldn't walk normally again. Will you drive and risk your life because of a car crash? I'm not saying driving is bad and never drive, but to drive less and only if it's necessary. Driving will suck your money away from your bank really fast. Teenagers shouldn't need to drive because we're in school most of the time, and the public transportation is available. So will you drive more at risk of being injured or worse, killed? I'll let you be the judge of that one. It's really easy to get a ticket and the fines are really high. Parking meters usually cost about $2 to $3 per hour, depending on where you park. Not only driving costs a lot, but then it's also really dangerous. From my experience, I have a lot of teenagers friends that drive often and somehow they're really reckless. They cut lanes and they drive really fast. Last year, I was sitting in a car with my friend and he was driving. We were on the 101 highway and he was driving like 80 miles per hour and he was cutting lanes like a maniac. And we almost crashed, but then somehow he managed to brake it on time. So that tells us that teenagers shouldn't be driving that much because we're more reckless and we tend to multitask. To solve the teenage high crash rate, we should tell DMV to stop letting teenagers get their driver's license that easily. Because when I got my license, it was really easy to pass. I made like really bad mistakes, but then they still let me pass.